Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1396, 1396, and Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcast-1396. Today we will hear from Madame Rootabega. She'll be back again. Valentino, Bison, Bentley. I know these people whose last name is Rude, and they really are. So isn't that a thing?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Your last name. What does it say about you? Matthews. It means I'm into math, which is not true.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yesterday, I ran into my friends, Nick and Steph. They were walking around. Have you ever seen a treble clef on a music sheet? That's neither here nor there. They were walking their dogs. I walk my dog everywhere. My dog's name is Basil the Boxer. And that was a beautiful song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them in a while. Nick is the one that when he sees me, he goes, "Hey, Mike!"
Mike's
really loud.
Daily.
But it was great to see them.
Podcast.
You know, you have to.
Yeah!
You have to go and see your friends. You can't just lock yourself up in a tiny little room. You've got to go out and you can't, like here, I'm here with all these people here at Cafe Anyway, and this door is about to open, and I'm sure someone will walk in. Oops, everybody just left. Oh, here comes someone.
Hello, Michael Matthews, it's Madame Rootabega, and I wanted to ask you.
What is the matter with you?
What do you mean?
Something must be wrong with you.
Oh. That's a deep question. That's a robust question. Anyway.
Anyway.
Cafe Anyway. I tried watching Moana. Oh, look who else walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
Wrong.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Which is a very good thing. Which is a very, very good thing.
Trump is going to be dropping in throughout the show today. I know, it's scary. What's he going to say next?
I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
How is he doing that? How is he... How is he... It's amazing. It makes you go hachi-machi. It's so amazing how Mike does that. You know, and Trump, what do you have to say about me, Mike Matthews?
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander.
Oh, that's not nice.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's of Monterey, my friend. There's a guy named Monty Ray. No, this is a town called Monterey. It's south of me here from Podcast-1396. And I need to go there. I miss it. You know, there's some boats there. There's boats on the water, lightning in the sky. And you can see the boats, and it's beautiful, and maybe walk your dog. Mine's name is Basil the Boxer. And you have a wonderful time down there. Hey, if you want to see a little insight into Monterey, and Pacific Grove is right next to it, there's a bizarre documentary. I think it's called The Man Who Sees UFOs. It's a documentary a young kid made, and it's on Netflix, and it's weird. And I tried watching there's a lot of cussing in it. This guy who claims to see UFOs, he claims to film UFOs, but when you see them, when you see the video of it, they just look like little dots. It could have been someone with a laser pointer shooting the light like anywhere on the screen. It's dumb. But there's a lot of shots of Monterey and Pacific Grove, and I guess he's kind of a celebrity there. Kind of a nut job. But you know what? It's okay if you're a little bit nuts. And that you...
He's nuts! They're nuts! They know nothing!
I would also like to tell you that I tried watching Moana, and very colorful, very musical. Within the first 10 minutes... And I'm seeing where this is going. It's got kind of this Lion King feel, only there's a girl in Hawaii somewhere. And there's a song by Tim Tim Finn, who's the brother of Neil Finn in the band Crowded House. In fact, Tim Finn was in Crowded House for a short while. He was also in Split Enz with Neil Finn. Split Enz had the song, I got you, and that's all I want. I don't know why sometimes I get frightened. If you read my mind, you tell that I'm not lying. So Tim Finn had a song where in the lyrics he goes, think of Tafiki, he'll never be defeated. Not even in the finest hour, his memory remains. Whoa, I'll sing to you my song of Perry Haka. And there's all these references in it, and I didn't realize what they were. And then I realize watching Moana, because they talk about Tafika in it, Tafiki. And Tim Finn, is from New Zealand. So this movie, at some point I'm just going to have to get over all the computer-generated animation crap I'm just so sick of. I start watching one and I'm like, oh God, here goes those same facial expressions, the same movement. It looks so computer-generated, and I don't know why it upsets me. It's weird. I don't know. I don't get that way when I watch an old Disney movie like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I haven't done in a long time. But that's neither here nor there or ever there or up there. What's up there? What is that on the ceiling of Cafe Anyway?
Michael Matthew, it's a little bit of a pineapple. Ooh.
Oh. Were you guys having a luau?
We were watching Moana and we wanted to have a little luau. Ooh.
Luau's are awesome. Luau. Hey, I wanted to sing to you some more music, but I can't because I got to get on with the segment today, which I know the name of. The name of the segment, and I'm going to tell it to you right now as I click on a couple of things and look through my list of what the heck is going on. We will call this segment Ain't Life Grand, because Ain't Life Grand is what this is. So we'll get to that in a moment with some interesting news that make you go, life is sure interesting. Is it worth living? I think it is. And I talked to my mom, and she's doing good. Thanks for asking. She, as you may or may not know, if you've listened to the show for a while, my mom lost her leg a couple years back due to some health issues, and so now she walks around with one leg and a prosthesis, and she's gotten very good at the prosthesis. But the problem is with prosthesis is that you need to make sure that they fit the remaining part of your leg, the stump, whatever you want to call it. And so she's like, they've just fitted me a leg, and this is the best one yet. This feels so good. And I'm like, this is awesome, Mom. So it's good, you have to celebrate the little things in life. This is actually a huge thing for my mom, so I'm very happy. Okay. It's amazing what they do with prostheses these days. And apparently the people in Daytona Beach, the people that she works with, are amazing. So a big thanks to them for helping my mom out. Okay, back to the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. If you'd like to help out the show in any way, there's an Amazon link. You can click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. Maybe you're going to buy a prosthesis. Whatever you're going to buy, go through that. Actually, you probably buy a prosthesis online. You need special lists to help fit the prosthesis. There's a lot of a lisping. We're lisping a little to the left here today. That was a boat reference. What's a problem? Why do people have such issues with lisps? It's just a few extra S's. That was a reference to Kids in the Hall. Hey, finally, there's the PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. You'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. Finally, all the past podcast pictures, past shows, links to wherever you could. We're all over the internet. You can find out where. All there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. We're linked to all kinds of social media. Okay, and now the segment called
Life Grand.
President Trump may have held more meetings with Vladimir Putin at the G20 summit earlier this month. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he's been so much fun, hasn't he, Sergei? He's told us all kinds of interesting things. What would we do without Sergei? Sergei, everywhere Sergei goes, there's controversy. Or as the British say, how do they say it? The British? Controversy? Wait, they have this funny way of... I can't remember. Back to the show. What happened was Sergei Lavrov, who... Controversy follows everywhere. He shrugged off the importance of the encounters. And they might have met even much more than just 3 times, he said. Maybe they went to the toilet together, he joked. Asked whether the two presidents had other conversations or met in the corridors of the G20 meeting, Lavrov used the analogy of children mingling at a kindergarten. Oh, they are just little children playing around together. When you are brought by your parents to a kindergarten, do you mix with the people or are you waiting in the same room to start going to classroom? He added, and I will stop the horrible stereotypical Russian accent. I remember when I was in that position, I did spend 5 or 10 minutes in the kindergarten before they brought us to the classroom. Lavrov echoed the White House account of a third meeting between Trump and Putin during a social dinner at the summit in Hamburg. The other 2 meetings, one a scheduled bilateral meeting and another when the pair shared a handshake, had already been widely reported. After the dinner was over, I was not there, he said. President Trump apparently went to pick up his wife and spent some minutes with President Putin. So what? He said. Lavrov also said the U.S. presence in Syria was illegitimate and accused CIA Director Mike Pompeo of having double standards. You are criticizing Mike Pompeo? The nerve. Double standards regarding the establishment of military bases in the country. He said Pompeo's comments criticizing Russia's presence in Syria and the establishment of military bases on the Mediterranean coast at the Aspen Security Forum Thursday showed that something was wrong with double standards. Lavrov cited reports of 10 U.S. bases built in Syria, not to mention hundreds and hundreds of military bases of the United States all over the world and all around Russia. Okay. And then turning to North Korea, Lavrov confirmed that Russia would not support a regime change. We do not believe in regime change anywhere, he said. And he said Russian intelligence showed that North Korea's test missile launch earlier this month was not an intercontinental weapon. Our objective data we received from our radars located just on the border with North Korea, and according to that data, it is not an intercontinental missile. Asked why Russia why did Russia not consider North Korea a threat? Lavrov responded, I cannot say we are not considering a threat. What is going on the Korean Peninsula because of what North Korea is doing in gross violation of the Security Council resolutions. That's Lavrov. And makes me want to go to the Lavrovatory. I don't know what that meant. There's been a shakeup. No, I guess they do say controversy like us. This is really befuddling me today. There's been a shakeup in President Trump's legal team. Marc Kasowitz. This is bizarre. Remember Marc Kasowitz came out a few weeks ago after Comey gave his testimony? And he read a long list of things that he thought was wrong with Comey, even though they all loved Comey when he brought out the whole Hillary Clinton went into her emails and then said, everything's fine. And then just before the election, no, not everything. Everything's bad. Marc Kasowitz is out of Mr. Trump's personal attorney. He's gone. Yeah, the reason for the moves were not immediately known. Kasowitz has represented Mr. Trump since the early 2000s and led his defense in the Trump University fraud case. Remember that? as the Republicans and the Trump supporters were yelling about the Clinton Foundation, Democrats had the Trump University to laugh about and point out. Kasowitz recently made headlines when he sent threatening emails to a retired public relations professional who had said Kasowitz should resign. In his first response, Kasowitz wrote, blank you. Kasowitz wrote a number of emails after that, including one that said, and you don't know me, but I will know you. How dare you send me an email like that? I'm on you now. You are F some word with a lot of stars after it with me now. Let's see who you are. Let's see who you are. Watch your back. And then a word that rhymes with ditch. Kasowitz later apologized. This according to CBS News and ProPublica. Now, one last thing about Trump, and that would be Mar-a-Lago, his Mar-a-Lago club that he loves to go to in Florida. And in fact, there's some controversy over the flying of there continuously, and how much is it costing the taxpayers to fly our president down to Florida all the time. But Mar-a-Lago has asked permission to hire 70 foreign workers this fall, attesting in the middle of the White House's Made in America week that it cannot find qualified Americans to serve as cooks, waiters, and housekeepers. Those requests were made to the Department of Labor in recent days and posted online yesterday. The for-profit club, where Trump spent numerous weekends this spring, asked permission to hire 15 housekeepers, 20 cooks, and 35 waiters. In addition, Trump's golf club in nearby Jupiter, Florida, asked permission to hire 6 foreign workers as cooks. The applications to the Department of Labor are a first step in the process of applying for H-2B visas, which would allow the clubs to bring in foreigners for temporary work between October and next May. Finally, Mariposa. If you go to Yosemite from here, you pass through Mariposa, and I've stopped there for a coffee. In fact, I bought a t-shirt at one of the coffee shops because I liked it. It had like a coffee stain on it, and it was all cool, and then I took it home and washed it, and it was too small. But that kind of thing happens. I think it was called... It's whatever they name that thing that they used to do at Yosemite where they would drop all these coals down this waterfall. It was like a waterfall of fire. I think that's what it is. Fire thread trail, something like that in Yosemite. That coffee, I think is what they call it. But that place was awesome, and Mariposa, however, speaking of fire, is being threatened by it. The battle to save one of California's popular gold rush towns from wildfire appeared to turn in the favor of the fire crews yesterday, as slightly cooler weather and favorable winds helped firefighters hold the advancing flames to nearby hills. Still, parts of the 2,000-person city of Mariposa, a much-visited gateway to Yosemite National Park, remain threatened by the Detwiller fire, as was the smaller community of Coulterville, 30 miles to the north. In between the two towns, along normally scenic Highway 49, the fire had left a blackened moonscape of charred oaks and pine across some 70,000 acres as it continues to grow. Yes, you get used to that, seeing that, unfortunately, in that area of California. But we wish them all the best. Mariposa. We stayed there. We stayed at a lake house, and the lake water was so warm. Oh, it's lovely. One of the nice things about California. And finally, speaking of California, Elon Musk has got his Tesla not too far. I can throw a rock at it from here. In fact, I'm going to try and do that right now. There we go. I just broke a window at Tesla. I'm going to jail. No, I didn't. Billionaire innovator Elon Musk claimed yesterday that he had received verbal government approval to build a futuristic underground rail system that would take riders from New York to Washington, D.C. in less than half an hour. In a series of mysterious tweets that would not be taken seriously if it were practically any other corporate executive, Elon befuddled the transportation industry with claims that his latest venture is pursuing an ultra-high-speed rail network in the Northwest. He says just received verbal government approval for the Boring Company to build an underground New York, Phil, Balt, DC Hyperloop. He added that the system would ferry passengers from city center to city center in each case, with up to a dozen or more entry-exit elevators in each city. It was not immediately clear what Musk meant by verbal government approval, which carries little weight in a world in which tunneling can require navigating a Byzantine thicket of regulations. According to USA Today, tunneling from New York to Washington would require a gargantuan political feat, not to mention a prodigious amount of money. A U.S. Transportation Department spokesperson was not immediately available for comment to USA Today. A spokesperson for passenger rail company Amtrak, which controls much of the current rail corridor from New York to Washington, did not have an immediate comment either. And it looks like nobody else wanted to comment either. Well, thank you, Elon. As we go outside Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcast Valley. What was that cartoon that used to be on MTV? Eon. Was it called Eon Flux? And then there's Elon Musk. I get those two mixed up. Next show is going to be, which we'll probably do on Sunday, it's going to be Shelley Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful Friday. And if you're British, please give me a call at 336-MM-DAILY and tell me the proper way to say controversy. Thank you. 336-MM-DAILY.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!